Welcome, curious minds, to the Deep Dive. Today we're pulling back the curtain on one of New York City's most legendary and frankly most mysterious landmarks, the Dakota building. You've undoubtedly seen it, that distinctive, almost castle-like facade on West 72nd Street. Ever since it first opened its grand doors way back in 1884, it's been, synonymous with unparalleled luxury and a real roll call of celebrity residents. From the outside, looking at that opulent exterior, you'd be forgiven for seeing it as just, a beacon of high society, a testament to Gilded Age extravagance, that era of immense wealth and a really ostentatious display. But here's where this story takes a fascinating, kind of unsettling turn. Beneath all that glamour, this building holds a deeply unsettling and tragic past. It's long been whispered to be not just exclusive, but maybe truly cursed. So our mission today is to explore this unsettling chain of events, the strange phenomena, and the chilling stories that have become inextricably linked to this iconic and allegedly very haunted residence.
It is really intriguing, isn't it? How a place conceived in such opulence, designed for the absolute elite, could become such a magnet, not just for the rich and famous, but also for the inexplicable, the profoundly tragic. It's almost as if its very grandeur somehow provided a stage for something, or perhaps even amplified something far darker.
Okay, let's unpack the building's origins then. Because the sheer ambition behind the Dakota was, incredible for its time. Back in the 1880s, it cost a staggering $1 million to build.
$1 million?
In the 1880s.
Exactly. And the first owner, Edward Clark, the founder of the Singer Sewing Machine Company, he even had a special apartment designed just for his family. Get this, complete with actual sterling silver floors.
Sterling silver floors, wow. Just imagine that level of extravagance.
And that exclusivity.
Yeah.
It hasn't faded one bit. Even today, the demand to live there is just immense. For 45 years after it opened, the building had literally 0 vacancies. Can you even believe that?
45 years. That's incredible. And even now, only the chosen few get in. The building's super selective board has actually rejected some really high-profile celebrities, people like Madonna, Billie Joe Armstrong.
Yeah, they're famous for being tough. But if we think about that era's ambition, it's also worth noting a really critical architectural decision. The head architect, Henry J. Hardenberg, he deliberately chose not to incorporate fire escapes into the design.
No fire escapes.
No. Instead, he relied on these internal fireproofing methods, like putting layers of mud between the brick flooring layers, things like that.
Which, for a building with 10 floors and 103 apartments, that was an incredibly high-stakes decision, wasn't it? Potentially life-threatening.
Absolutely.
It adds this underlying tension right from the very start. A place so grand, yet with such a fundamental, almost shocking design choice.
It really does. It speaks to a certain, maybe, overconfidence in the new technologies of the time. And perhaps a disregard for what we now consider just essential safety measures. It almost feels like foreshadowing, that foundational choice, foreshadowing the turbulent history to come.
And the risks weren't just in its construction, were they? As we start peeling back the layers, a really chilling pattern of untimely death starts to emerge. And it starts even before the grand doors officially opened. The very first person closely associated with the Dakota to meet an untimely end was Edward Clark himself.
The owner.
The man who commissioned this magnificent structure. He tragically died 2 years before its completion in 1882. Never even got to live in his grand sterling floored apartment.
Never saw it finished. Wow.
Then there was the renowned Russian composer Peter Tchaikovsky. He sought permission to move into his apartment before the building was fully complete. But sadly, he didn't have long to enjoy his luxurious new surroundings. He died shortly after, only 53 years old, under very mysterious circumstances.
Right, the official story is often cholera, from drinking unboiled water. But there are other theories, too.
Yeah, some historical accounts suggest that, while others hint at a more tragic possibility, perhaps suicide, it's still debated. And the list keeps going. Actress Judy Holliday, she spent the last years of her life there in apartment number 77. She succumbed to cancer in 1965 at just 43 years old.
So young.
But perhaps the most well-known, certainly the most shocking, death linked to the Dakota is John Lennon's. December 8th, 1980. In the evening, the former Beatle was fatally shot right in the archway of the Dakota, his residence at the time.
Right there at the entrance.
Yeah. His perpetrator was Mark Chapman, who fired 5 hollow-point bullets. 4 hit him. His death was, probably the biggest shock to the world since the assassination of JFK. Just immense.
And when you see such a concentration of high-profile tragedies all linked to one place, you have to wonder, is it just unfortunate coincidence? Or is it something else? Does the intense spotlight of themes somehow amplify these misfortunes, make them more visible, more resonant, even after death?
It makes you think.
Think about others with untimely deaths who had links there. Judy Garland lived there for a time. Marilyn Monroe did that famous photo shoot there. It really solidifies this building's unsettling association with tragedy and, well, untimely ends.
It certainly does. And you can't really talk about the Dakota without at least mentioning the unsettling Curse of Rosemary's Baby, right? The movie.
Given that the film famously used the exterior of the building, it just adds another layer to its unsettling mystique, blurs the lines between fiction and a very real, very dark history. So, okay, with all these deaths linked to the Dakota, it's really no surprise, I guess, that the place is just riddled with reports of paranormal activity. Ghosts. Let's talk about some of the permanent, maybe otherworldly residents. First, there's the one many call the Crying Lady.
Ah, yes.
This apparition has apparently been spotted numerous times. Even John Lennon himself reportedly saw her and actually gave her that name. And the backstory is quite interesting. She's believed to be Ellie Vesley. He was a former manager of the Dakota back in the 1930s through the 50s. Apparently, she was very interested in the paranormal, even in life. Believed she had psychokinetic powers.
Really?
Yeah. But then tragically, her son was killed, hit by a truck right outside the Dakota. After that, her personality apparently transformed. She became unusually kind, incredibly protective of the children living in the building. And many believe she continues this protection in death, patrolling the halls, looking out for the kids. It's quite poignant, really. A mother's enduring love, perhaps.
That's, quite a story. And it's said that Ellie might also be connected to another ghost, known as the young girl. She's been seen bouncing a red ball down the halls, often seen entering or exiting closets. Apparently, some painters first spotted her. They described her wearing a yellow dress, almost matched her blonde hair, white stockings, and these little black, silver-buckled shoes.
Okay.
They claimed she looked right at them and said, "It's my birthday," and then just disappeared. And here's the really chilling part. Not long after that encounter, one of those painters died. He fell off scaffolding down a stairwell.
Oh, no.
Ever since then, people are wary of the young girl. They believe she holds some sort of curse. It's that kind of detail that really makes you shiver, isn't it?
Definitely.
But not all the spirits there seem protective. Some seem a little more, well, disgruntled. Take the ghost of Edward Clark himself, the original owner.
Right, the one who never lived there.
Exactly. In the late 1930s, an electrician named John Painter was working late in the basement, trying to sort out some strange wiring issues. He claimed that out of the shadows appeared this short man, wearing a frock coat, a wig, steel-rimmed glasses. This man apparently glared angrily at Painter, then pulled off his wig, violently shook it right in Painter's face, and then just vanished.
Took his wig at him.
Yeah.
So Painter had several run-ins with this wig ghost, but it wasn't until later when he saw a picture of Edward Clark that he instantly recognized him.
So it was Clark.
It seems so. Apparently, Clark wasn't all that impressed with Painter messing with his building's wiring. It really highlights a recurring theme you see in hauntings, doesn't it? Spirits deeply attached to their former lives, their possessions, unable to let go of their earthly domains.
Yeah, definitely a theme here. And Clark wasn't the only one seemingly unhappy with changes. There was Joe Mills, a renowned Broadway set designer. He lived in the Dakota, actually designed parts of the interior.
Right.
He was killed in 1976, hit by a cab right outside the building. In the weeks that followed his death, workers at the Dakota were just besieged by bizarre occurrences.
Like what?
Well, things being flung across the basement. A porter saw a shovel fly off the wall by itself, bags of garbage moving on their own, and apparently a large iron bar even flew through the air at a resident named Wilbur Ross, landing right at his feet. It was so heavy he couldn't even lift it.
Oh, okay, that's pretty aggressive.
Yeah. And then there's one of the most frightening spirits, the Phantom of the Dakota, sometimes called the Mad Smasher.
Mad Smasher?
No! This is another spirit who seemed to object fiercely to changes within the building. He never harmed anyone directly, but he certainly made his presence known. Remember Joe Mills, the set designer?
Yeah, the one hit by the cab.
Before his death, he had designed a new elevator system for the building. Shortly after it was installed, giant slashes started appearing on the panel walls. Weekly.
Slashes.
Yeah, like deep cuts. Too high up to be from a child, and apparently requiring immense strength. At the same time, strange piles of shredded paper were found on the 9th floor, stacked in a way that really implied someone was looking to start a fire.
Arson attempt.
Looked like it. And then a can of paint fell from the roof into the courtyard, just missing a tenant, even though no painting was happening up there.
Okay, so this is getting serious.
Right. Residents started suspecting each other. They even set up secret surveillance, trying to catch the Mad Smasher.
Did they find anything?
Well, they apparently discovered that a lot of residents were having affairs with each other, but absolutely no sign of the Mad Smasher. No explanation for the damage.
And many people believe this could also be the work of the disgruntled Edward Clark. Again.
Yeah.
Unhappy with his precious building being messed with. It just seems that this building, for whatever reason, attracts these powerful, possessive energies that simply refuse to depart.
It really is a recurring theme, isn't it? The attachment, the anger about changes, and of course, no discussion of the Dakota's ghosts would be complete without mentioning John Lennon's ghost.
Of course.
The first reported sighting was 1983. Joey Harrow and Amanda Moore spotted him standing near the spot where he was murdered in the archway. Harrow claims Lennon was surrounded by this ominous light, and Moore said he seemed unwilling to interact, just sort of there.
Wow.
But maybe the most famous sighting was by his wife, Yoko Ono, who, remarkably, still lives in the Dakota today.
She does.
She claims she saw John's spirit sitting at his white piano in their apartment. He reportedly turned to her and said, "Don't be afraid, I'm still with you," and then just vanished.
That's quite something. Comforting, maybe.
Yeah.
In a very eerie way.
Yeah. And what about Judy Holliday's apartment, number 77, after her death? When new owners hired 3 men to redecorate, all 3 claimed they saw a ghost. Described it as having the body of a man but the face of a child.
A man's body, child's face, that's unsettling.
Very. One worker even specifically saw the spirit of a 10-year-old boy with this distinct musty odor. Another claimed he was doing touch-ups inside a large closet when the door slammed shut, the lights went out, and he felt something grab his arm.
Okay. Yeah, many believe Holiday herself was responsible for that activity.
Annoyed about the redecorating.
Possibly annoyed by the changes being made to her apartment. It's that common thread again, isn't it?
Okay.
A strong attachment to what was theirs in life, and a real discomfort with anyone disturbing that peace.
Okay, this brings us to the apartment directly above Holiday's. On the 3rd floor, home to Frederick and Suzanne Weinstein. They experienced an incredibly wide range of paranormal activities. We're talking unexplained noises, rugs and chairs moving on their own, the works.
Wow. Poltergeist type stuff.
Seems like it. And it seemed the spirit, or whatever it was, had a particular dislike for Frederick.
Oh, why him?
Who knows? But chairs were apparently pulled out from under him as he went to sit down. He reported being pushed by someone who wasn't there. And on multiple occasions, rugs seemed to be pulled right out from under his feet, especially when he was in the dining room.
It's very targeted.
Very. There was one really eerie incident. Frederick was coming home, looked up at his living room window, and saw a light on.
Okay.
But what was confusing was the light seemed to be coming from a crystal chandelier. And they didn't have a crystal chandelier in the living room.
Huh.
He thought maybe Suzanne had installed it as a surprise. But when he got up to the apartment, the light turned off just as he arrived, and there was no chandelier.
Weird.
But here's the kicker. He did find bolts in the ceiling right where a chandelier had once been installed.
Okay, that's properly strange. Phantom chandelier.
Exactly. But perhaps the most unsettling thing happened to Frederick after he played a game with his kids. It was like a Ouija board, but using lettered tiles instead of a board and pointer.
Ah, the Ouija style games.
Yeah.
Never a good sign in these stories.
Right. During the game, the spirit messages suggested they were in contact with the ghost of a little girl. Possibly the young girl from the 30s we talked about earlier, the one with the birthday message.
Okay.
When the game was over, Frederick put all the pieces away, stacked the tiles neatly on a bookshelf, but days later he found 2 of the lettered tiles in his suit pocket.
What? Oh.
And he came across a 3rd tile in his glasses case.
And the letters.
The 3 letters on the tile spelled out, "I see you."
Oh, chills. That is
Okay.
deeply unsettling. I see you. Wow.
Yeah, so the Dakota building truly stands as this unique blend, doesn't it? Historical grandeur and just layers upon layers of unsettling supernatural occurrences. It easily makes it one of New York's most haunted and mysterious places.
Indeed. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How such deep-seated history and all that intense human emotion, especially around major life events like death, or profound attachment, how that might just linger within a structure. Or why certain locations like the Dakota seem to attract and hold on to such phenomena more than others. They become these true focal points for the inexplicable.
Absolutely. So given everything we've uncovered today, the opulence, the tragedy, the protective spirits, the disgruntled specters, those chilling messages, it makes you think. If you had the chance, would you dare to live in a place as iconic and, well, as chilling as the Dakota? What stands out to you most from its really mysterious past? Thank you for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.